Hi guys, I have the May This Life Noted kit here in front of me. I'm going to do something a little bit different for my video for This Life Noted this month. I'm going to show you guys the contents of this kit really quickly, so without quite as much detail as usual, and then I'm going to make a layout with this kit. So this kit comes with two alphas from Snap, a yellow and a teal, or I guess a light blue color. The stamp set has a kind of like a bad photo theme, so not so good, photo, awesome memory, no comment, terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day, seriously, and a little X, kind of like cross off type of thing. Comes with a partial package of these Dear Lizzie leather bows, and they're nice and not too bulky, which is good for, I mean, a good part of the bulk is actually the foam adhesive that holds it down to the paper. So if you really didn't want that bulk, you could always take that off and use some regular adhesive to put this down. So these are perfect for pocket scrapbooking. Then we get two pieces of flair from Caitlin Schaefer, a house and the word blah. These acrylic shapes, and I like these, they're words. It says yes, go, and play. And I like that they're sort of like a frosted finish to them this time. They have a frosted finish. And then we get a, this is actually, I think it has an adhesive backing on it. Yeah, so it's a glitter foam word love, and it's similar to the Go Play Yes. And then we get a partial pack. We get two of these little tiny paper clips, which are perfect because pocket pages are so much smaller. They're the perfect scale. These two little binder clips from Heidi Swapp from the Wanderlust collection. We get a set of enchanted enamel dots from Simple Stories. We get a set of little die cut numbers in vellum that go up to 5 with different colors. It would be nice if you had like a series of pockets that you wanted to follow a certain order, or even, you know, good for anything that you would have numbers on. Really pretty colors. The colors are really soft and beautiful. Then a die cut card with butterflies on it, and a die cut piece that says love your selfie, one that says sunshine, and then a handful of these little tabs that you can bend and use for labels or captions or whatever you like. Then we get these 3 wood veneer houses, a set of Ellie Studio Sienna die cut pieces, and that's the shapes that come in them, because just in the interest of time I'm not going to show all of them, but those are the shapes. What I like about these is that they're small, so they're great for pocket pages. I'm going to go through the cards super quick with you guys. So there is an origami card. These are cut aparts actually. Let me get the cut aparts out of here. Yeah. So this one is a cut apart that has some different kind of phrases on it, and then these are strips that you can cut apart. They say a variety of different things. And then the 4x6 cards look like this. Moving at the speed of life. That one's pretty. So those are the 4x6 cards. And then what I like to do at the beginning of doing a pocket page is just kind of familiarize myself with what's in the kits, what kinds of words there are, what kinds of phrases and images I'm working with, because then as I'm kind of going through my photos, I'll try to keep in mind what cards I might want to go with what photos. So this one has, it's a celebration, and we did have a family get-together that I have a photo from, so I'll keep that in mind. There's a bike card, my superpower is, so I'm just kind of thinking about how can I incorporate these into my pocket pages. So so the number 5 could be for April 5th or May 5th, but it could be for 5 of something, so I'll kind of keep my eye out for that. Cute little flower that could be with anything. Above all else, you're the best and the mostest. Be beautiful. Oh, and a different color scheme on that. Handsome and then some. So I've got a couple guys in my life that I could put that for. Create a couple guys. That sounds bad. I have a husband, but we have a young man living with us who is very handsome. So our international student who I can also use that with. Create joy. Oh, and then this is really nice. I like that. Bright idea. So I have to kind of think about what's been happening lately that might apply to that. Some arrows and another pattern. Ice cream. We haven't gone for ice cream yet. And again, I'm not going to use every single one of these cards either, so some of them can just go aside for next time. Some hearts and the word you. Good night and a really pretty moon. Oh, that's really nice. I got to figure out how I can use that because I like that. Happy heart with an H. All day, every day. Yeah, this. Yes, this. Let's stay here a while with some mountains. Oh, that's really nice. Let's stay here a while. I like that. Good morning with a sun. So there's a good morning and a good night. And then there's also an afternoon one, I think. Maybe? Am I wrong about that? No, I'm wrong about that. So there's a good night and a good morning. Those are cute. Be nice if you're camping on the May long weekend, which we're not, you know, good night, and then the next morning show you're making breakfast. Another nice card, that one and that one. Okay, so I'm just kind of familiarizing myself with what cards come in the kit, and that's my first step. Now I'm going to go and print up my photos for the month, and just since the last time that I did a pocket page. Oh, the other thing that I didn't show you guys is the freebie that you get for getting 2 kits in a row this month is a stencil, and it has these 3 kind of repeating patterns that you could use as a strip. So, all right, I'll be back with some photos, and I will, the rest of the video that you see will be a process video. So I'm going to start this process by just tidying up my supplies a little bit, and I want to spread things out so that I can see everything that I have so I don't forget which embellishments I have that might go with certain photos that I have. I'm going to open up these Ellie Studio die cut pieces. There's some really cute vellum pieces in here as well as paper die cut shapes that are, you know, have little phrases and patterns and stuff on them. So I'm putting those aside just so that I can have them spread out in a way that I can see what options are available. And now I have these 2 photos that have a lot, they're actually one panoramic photo that I took with my iPhone, and I printed it up into 2 4x6 photos, and I had to just kind of what I did was I just duplicated the photo, and then I printed and then I cropped it so that half was showing on one of the versions of the photo and the other half of it was showing on the other, and that's how I did that. I'm actually going to reprint that up because it didn't print quite vivid enough. It didn't look the way that it looked on my phone. So I'm cropping my photos here using my Creative Memories trimmer, and these larger photos that you see me, like this one with the forum on it, I'm cutting it at the size of 4x3 so that will fit in a pocket. And now I was looking for some type A pockets pages, and it looked like I was out of them, and I thought that couldn't possibly be right because I'm pretty sure I bought enough of them to last until the end of time. And then I remembered that I have another drawer just of Design A, so I went and got some more Design A. And my idea here was that I was going to scrap and just put it right into the pockets as I went, and then I remembered why I never do that, because they're slippery and it's no fun and I hate doing that. So I guess I just had to remind myself of how much I don't like doing that. So I grabbed my templates, which are just pre-designed to look like Design A, and I just used a ruler to do that with I just kind of created a 12x12 piece of cardstock that has the same pattern on it that a pocket page would have. So all of these photos are all from the same day. It was a big strings event that happened in our city. All of the students in the whole city who take strings through the school board all got together. There were 860 string students in that one forum location. And it's called Strings Night at the Forum, or String Night at the Forum. And I'm going to use the word, see how I purposely took this photo so that the word forum was showing, and I'm going to use that in my title, so you'll see that in a second. So for now, I'm just going through and looking at all the cards, trying to pick out cards that I think might coordinate with the colors in these photos. So my daughter was wearing yellow. They were all grouped, the color grouped based on the year. So my daughter was first year, so she was in the yellow group. And on the way, we stopped and got Starbucks, and the kids outside the Starbucks in the city, there's a swing, just a tree swing, and the kids were playing on that while Scott ran and got some coffee. So I took some pictures, and then that's us in the car all ready to go. And so I just want to include all of these because it's all sort of part of the memory. One person who didn't come this night was Marcel. He had another social event going on, so he's not in these photos. And I am going to make a little annotation about why he's not there, because he's in most of our family event photos. So I just want to make a note of why. Now here I'm thinking about doing another flip up pocket, which I did last month. And I'm going to toy with this idea for a while before I abandon it. So see how I'm just kind of thinking about putting 2 cards in that one spot. And I have these little pocket flap things that attach. I'm not doing a very good job of describing it, but they're little pockets that attach onto your page, and they flap up so that you can have 2 photos in one space, or 2 cards in one space. So I'm just thinking about how I'm going to do that title now. Again, I know I want to make use of the black space on this photo. See how there's kind of 2 triangles of black space where the audience is. And I'm also wanting to put some type of embellishments on top of that big white box that's in the top part of that's something that's, I don't know, it's some sound equipment or lighting equipment. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but we were sitting behind it and it features kind of prominently in the photo. So I want to add some little embellishments that are going to cover that up. So I know I'm going to call this String Night. And so I'm going to start by writing out String Night with these letters. And these yellow letters from Snap are slightly bigger than the blue ones that came in the kit. So I'm putting string in yellow, and then I'm going to take the blue ones and spell out night. And I'm just doing this on wax paper, which makes it easier for me to play around with the placement of the title before I commit to where I'm going to put it. And I'm not being too careful about lining them up right now because I basically just want to know the size and shape of this word. And then these letter stickers do come with a little @ symbol. Most letter stickers don't, so I always am on the lookout for letter stickers that include the @ symbol. And I'm thinking about spelling out the word forum, and then I realize I'm not going to because I'm going to use that photo. So I'm just putting @the. So String Night @the. And @the is going to go right above the word forum there. And then String Night is going to go across that big white blob in the top of my photo. And I'm thinking about putting the word play there, but it's looking a little bit too, I don't know what word I want to use here. So it's just looking too much like there's too much going on that photo. So I'm looking for another little flag or banner or label or something that I can put the word night on. And then I'm going to try to layer those 2 so that it doesn't look too much like one is on one photo and the other is on the other. So I'm going to try to overlap them when it comes time to put them on. And so I thought that this Create Joy card was a really good card to go with this spread, because it's all about creating music, and music is joyful, and I thought that it would go well. But you see, I put it over to the side there because I'm not entirely sure that I'm going to do the flip up card after all. So I'm going to sit on that idea and just do some other work for a little bit. Again, I'm thinking about whether that play chip is going to stay there. And right now I have them sort of spread out so that I've got play, love, and go. And I thought I'd put play right down there by the close-up. That's a close-up of the back of my daughter, or I guess the back and the side of my daughter. And my husband was a chaperone, a parent chaperone on the floor, just in case any kids had to go to the bathroom or if there was any problem on the floor. The music teacher could be free to kind of keep on conducting and doing what he was doing, and there were parents around that could help with any kids who had any problems. So my husband was doing that, so that gave him a really great view of the band from the kind of like the floor perspective. So I have a big photo from my perspective as an audience member, and then Scott has some shots of my daughter's perspective, which is kind of neat to have two perspectives. To have two perspectives in one event is kind of nice. So I'm going to go ahead and put down these letter stickers, and I'm just centering the word the. So I started with the H because it's in the middle, and I'm centering it above the word forum, and then I'm going to center the @ symbol right above that. And here I'm going to try to play around with how I can layer these so that it doesn't look so obvious. Like I like when one thing spreads over 2 pages or 2 pockets, I like it to look like I did that on purpose. So I'm going to try to do that with this, but I can't remember if it actually worked. Yep, I am. What I'm going to do is, because I don't have enough room on the other side of night to extend that one onto the left pocket, I'm going to put the strings, the label that the word strings is going on is going to extend into the right pocket. And I'm trying to line this up as opposed to having it be kind of like with a bouncing baseline. So there's string night, and I'm going to attach night to the label that has the word string on it, and then I'll just take my trimmer and cut them apart. I think I'm going to get my printer, my trimmer. Yeah, I don't know exactly where I was. Oh, I know, I was sewing. I forgot about that stuff. Yes, so I went to my sewing machine and I just sewed 3 strips of stitching just right across it. And then I'm just using my washi tape to hold it all in place, especially where I'm going to be trimming it. I want to make sure that those threads don't, become too torn and tattered. So I'm just cutting it so that it, so that the word night is going to be, I don't want to split up the words. So string is going to be on one side and night is going to be on the other, but I want the overall design to span the 2 cards like that. So the top card is done now, and I think I've decided to not put the word play or really anything in that left-hand corner of darkness in the top left-hand photo. So now I have that little confetti card, which is really cute. I'm just using my Tombow Mono multi-adhesive to apply these really cute acrylic pieces. They have a matted finish to them this month, so we've seen them completely clear and see-through, which is really cute, and we've seen opaque ones, and now we've got another version of them which are, it's transparent but with a matted kind of a finish on them. So I'm just doing some journaling here that talks about playing on the swings while Scott goes in for Starbucks. And I need to write down why Marcel is missing, or just that he's missing, just so that it doesn't, just so that you're not kind of wondering. And I'm here thinking and thinking. It just seems like this card needs something, and those paintbrushes are too dirty. I can't use them. So I grabbed a new paintbrush, not brand new, but like one that hasn't been used and soaking in dirty water for however long. And I'm just taking this coral colored Heidi Swapp mist, and this is the exact match to the coral that is in this this month's cards. So I think it looks really pretty, and I'm just drawing a frame on here. that middle piece that I did is just, it's going to be covered by the photo, and I just wanted to test to make sure that it was going to be the color that I wanted, because I didn't even check the mist samples. I just knew that it was going to be the color I wanted, but I tested it just in case. See how nicely it matches with the card right above it? And now the mist is still wet, so my marker isn't working all that well, but I'm just doodling a little bit of an outline around it just to add to the kind of sketchy, messy watercolor look to it. And then I am going to write down here, I'm just saying that, you know, missing, and then Marcel, what am I saying here? Marcel was out with Haley. So now I'm going to do some journaling on this card, and I'm just going to completely disregard the bullet numbers that go down the side of this card. It's made for doing a list, but I'll often just disregard that and use these cards as journaling cards, unless if I have a list to talk about, which I usually don't. I usually will just write out in sentences or whatever. It's nice to have those bullet lists though for doing things in point form. It makes it a lot easier and faster to do your scrapping. But in this case, I just wanted to describe the experience of going to strings night. So that page is coming together pretty well. It's almost done. I'm just going to do a few more things here. I'm just thinking about whether it needs anything else. Thinking that these bows are just too cute, and I want to put one under the word play. It doesn't quite fit there, and I've already glued down play, so I'm kind of trying to decide what I'm going to do. I don't want it above play, it just doesn't look right there. It just feels like this spread needs something else, but I'm going to put it aside and just think about it because I couldn't quite think of what else to put on it. So whenever that happens, I just move on, and sometimes I'll come back and add some stuff at the end, and sometimes I just decide that it's enough the way it is. My purpose in pocket scrapbooking is to go a little bit faster than I would to do 12 by 12 layouts for all of these photos. And so it kind of defeats the purpose if I spend too much time thinking about what I want to do to make it look absolutely perfect. So I need to kind of know when to let go of something. And that was an example of me just letting go and deciding, I'm just going to leave it. So again, I'm just kind of looking through the cards, and here I have another couple of days worth of photos. This includes Mother's Day and a couple of days before it. We had some friends over, and yeah, it's mostly just friends over and some cooking we did that weekend and Mother's Day. So I have these little cut aparts that came in the kit, the little strips, and I'm cutting one of them out. I'm basically trying to get at one of those little phrases that says, be your selfie. But then there's also the die cut piece that says, be your selfie. And it's really hard to see it because I'm putting it on a white background there for now. But right under the selfie of me with the plaid shirt in my backyard, there is a white die cut that says, be your selfie. And I just wanted to decorate this set of balloons. And there was nothing that came in the kit that I really wanted to use for this. So I just grabbed a little vial of sequins from another kit from This Life Noted from a previous month. We used to always get sequins. And so if you've been subscribing for a while, you probably have several different sets of sequins, or maybe you just put them all in one big pile or container or something. I tend to just throw my leftovers into a little vial when I was done. So I've got a couple of vials that are just kind of combo colors from certain months. And I just picked out a couple of colors so that I was putting the same color sequence as the balloon. So that was a little bit of interest, but not too much contrast. So it's becoming clear to me that I've printed way more photos than what I'm probably going to scrapbook here today. And so I'm trying to prioritize getting the best photos, or the photos that either the photos that I love the most or that have the stories that I want to tell the most. So some of these are not going to make the cut. And that's okay. I'll either do another page later on this month or they just won't get scrapped. It's okay if you don't scrap every single thing. I'm learning that over time. My first year of doing pocket scrapbooking, I did a more traditional Project Life approach where I did one spread every week and I really did capture almost everything. And it was great to have that for 1 year, but I find that my life just hasn't changed enough from year to year to warrant doing every single week scrapbooking for years and years in a row. So I did 1 year of weekly scrapbooking, and ever since then I've been doing monthly scrapbooking and kind of monthly-ish scrapbooking in my pocket pages. So my 12 by 12 layouts become the majority of my scrapbooking, and some of the most special pages and stories make it onto the 12 by 12 pages, and then my pocket pages become kind of like a wrap up of some of the other things that happened this month, and it's not kind of firmly documenting every single thing. So while I was talking about all of that, you saw me just kind of playing around with different 3x4 cards. So even though I'm using a design A page protector here, I'm going to fill it with entirely 3x4 cards, and I often do this. And so the way that I do it is I will attach the 3x4 cards to the 4x6 cards that will end up being behind them. And it works pretty good. And the way that I do my pocket pages is, instead of putting them side by side, I put them back to back. So I am filling one page protector here, not two. Even though I took out two at the beginning, I wasn't quite thinking when I did that. So I'm pretty sure that, oh yes, I'm looking, that's what I'm gesturing about. I'm like, where on earth is that picture? I lost 2 pictures, and it's really driving me crazy because I cannot find them anywheres, and I know that I printed them. So I'm just kind of like looking and looking and looking, and finally I go off and I printed 2. What I did there when the camera changed is I went to my computer and reprinted them. And while I wait for them to print, I just print them up on my Canon PictureMate. Oh no, it's an Epson PictureMate charm. And so yeah, I've reprinted those photos, and you see that they just appeared there. It was the one of my daughter with the computer and the one of my other daughter with her friend, the 2 side by side in the top left-hand corner. They were the 2 missing ones. So I'm just going to use my mono multi-adhesive to glue down these little sequins. And now that is a card from last month's This Life Noted kit, and I think it might be the only thing, that and the sequins are the only things that didn't come in the kit. And I cut a piece of black cardstock, and that's just from my stash. And I'm going to back this whole thing on a piece of black cardstock just so that you can see the Love Your Selfie die cut piece. I'm going to do some outlining just to make it look a little less harsh of a difference between the black and the pattern paper, which is very white. And then I'm going to layer my photo like that. These 2 cards go together because the first one is me in my backyard with my new hairdo. It's just I've got like a red streak in the front of it. And then the other one is a picture of me at the hairdresser's. And my hairdresser is actually a friend of mine. So it's also a picture of my friend Tina. Like, it's not just my hairdresser. So that's kind of cool. And Tina had been trying to convince me to put some type of color in the front of my hair for like probably more than a year now. And I wasn't against it. I just wasn't ready for it yet. So I told her I'm ready. So we went ahead and did it that time. So I just did some journaling about that in the space that was left on the pattern paper. And I specifically chose a pattern paper that had a really subtle pattern so that I could do some journaling on it as well. I outlined the arrows just to, again, I'm trying to bring some black over from the card beside it just to make them look like they coordinate a little bit better. And that's what the outlining does on the arrows. So I'm cutting out another little phrase here. It says, "Is this a thing?" And that's where my daughters are wearing my shoes now. And I can't believe that that's a thing because man. You know, it seems like just the other day they were wearing those tiny little shoes, but now they're wearing my size shoes. And pretty soon my daughter's going to have bigger feet than me. One of my daughters will, for sure. Then here I'm just doing some journaling about our little friend Lorelei, who comes to our house quite frequently. And I kind of like how that looks with the happy heart, like with the H showing. I actually kind of like that, but I can't decide if I like it or if it looks weird. So I'm going to cover it up because I can't quite decide. And I'm going to cut this paper the wrong size several times. I don't know what you saw me measure there, so there's no reason that I'm cutting it the wrong size. But for whatever reason, I am. And there you go. You can still see the H. And I'm like, what did I do wrong? So I'm going to remeasure it and recut it. And I may have cut it wrong again, actually. I can't quite remember. So yep, that fits a little bit better. I'm going to just put that right on the card. And now this one, it's basically matted twice with 2 different layers of black, but you can't really see that it's layered twice because it's exactly the same cardstock. So it just, if you look really close, you can tell, but it doesn't look that bad. And I'm just putting hashtag YouTuber. And then on the top, I'm putting like mother, like daughter, because that's a picture of Olivia editing a video for her YouTube channel. I don't think that video ever did get posted, but she's AGFanLive on YouTube, if you're interested in checking her out. I don't think she's posted anything recently. If she has, it wasn't with me, so maybe Scott helped her with it. We don't let her post anything without us being with her. So that one says, is this a thing? And I'm just writing, all 3 of us are wearing my shoes. And they went to school wearing my shoes that day, which was just a really big occasion for me. Kids are a lot harder on shoes, so those shoes got really worn that day. I was surprised. I was like, yeah, you guys aren't borrowing my shoes anymore. So I'm just spelling out the word mother here on this photo, just above it. And it had a design on it, and I just covered it up so that it looks like the brackets are around the photo, which I think is kind of cool. I love that the cards are designed in such a way that they're very versatile. Like, it's easy to cover the design if you don't like the design on it. But the designs are so nice too. Sometimes I feel really bad covering up the designs, but then I have to remind myself that I have to use these cards, and it has to be fast too, right? Because it's pocket scrapping. So I try to not worry too much about covering up pretty designs. There are plenty of other cards that I use where I don't cover the designs, so I don't feel too badly about it. So I spelled out Mother's Day for that card, and now I'm spelling out the word snuggling or snugglin', and I have to use one of the apostrophes there. And I'm going to put that on this card. Oh, I love this. Is my favorite card in a long time. It says, my superpower is, and then I have this picture of Tina, who's my hairdresser, so she's in the above photo as well. A picture of Tina snuggling with Naomi. She's my old cat. She's almost 18 now. And she is the most snuggly cat ever. But I'm talking about Tina. So Tina's superpower is snugglin'. So it says my superpower is snugglin'. And I love the little like falling, cascading dot design on it. It's really cute. Oh, I love that card. Look at it. It's so cute. I'm going to freeze frame it for you. So there's the card. Isn't it sweet? It's just adorable. So this layout is really coming along now. It's almost finished. There's just a couple more things to do. So I'm going to take this Heidi Swapp Coral Mist again. It's the Color Shine Mist from Heidi Swapp. And I'm just going to color in this heart on this card. The card is really cute. It has a whole bunch of hearts and then the word you at the bottom. So I just want it to look like it says heart you or love you. And I'm going to just staple this picture using my tiny attacher. I'm going to staple it at the top, and it's a picture of my niece and my sister-in-law, not her mother, but her aunt, so my other sister-in-law. And then this, I'm going to just stick these letters down that I had already picked out before. And I'm going to put day and then mothers, and This is a picture of my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, the mother of the daughter right in the picture below where this one is going to go. And yeah, we went to Mother's Day at a restaurant that's at the halfway point between my city and their town. So they live about an hour and a half away, and two of them live up here, like Scott and his sister live up here, and then his mom and dad and other sister live in New Glasgow. So it's actually a town close to New Glasgow, but whatever. It's in that vicinity. And so we always meet in Truro, which is sort of the halfway. We don't always, but when we're going to meet halfway, it's usually Truro because that's a big town. And there are lots of restaurants and choices there. So we like that restaurant. It's a nice one. I forget the name of it, but it's a nice Italian restaurant. Good family restaurant with a good menu. So what else do I have left to do? It looks like I have this last little photo here, and it's not a great photo. It's in a restaurant. Everything is kind of orangey, you know, all the wood and orange colors, warm colors in restaurants. And so it's not the greatest photo. So I'm going to use this stamp that came with the kit this month. And I think it says, "Not so great photo, great memories." And I'm just using my Misty to position it because I really just kind of want to use the Misty. And you never know when you're going to need to double stamp something until you need to double stamp it. So I thought, just in case I need to double stamp it, I'll use my Misty, and it just lets you position where you want the stamp to go. And then you can just kind of stamp it. So you saw how it worked. And there are videos about it. I'm not doing it justice here. I just pulled it out and used it super quick. But it's nice to know that you can use it super quick, because sometimes I have the idea that a tool is harder to use than what it actually is, but it's really just like a psychological barrier that you have to get past and just pull it out and use it. I mean, that only took, mind you, I just did have it on fast forward 4 times, but it doesn't take that long to use your tools. And I really am challenging myself to use my tools a little bit more. And so the Misty is one of those tools. So I'm putting this chipboard piece, not chipboard, it's a resin piece, and I love it, or acrylic. I don't know what we're calling those, if they're resin or acrylic, but I really love them, and the 3 went so nicely together, but only 2 of them made it on the other page. So I want to make sure that I use that yes. And here are the girls drinking tea, so I'm going to put the word yes on it. It's sort of become, it's not part of our regular routine, but it's not unusual for the girls to drink tea in the morning at the peninsula while we're getting ready for school. We're lucky we have a really calm morning routine, and I love taking pictures of it because I work with families and I know that a lot of families don't have a calm morning routine. So I'm really, really grateful for the fact that we have managed to build in, and it's just because of circumstances that we can have a pretty relaxed morning. We get up quite a bit earlier than we need to so that we can have a nice breakfast all together, and usually Scott will cook something like eggs or something for breakfast, and yeah, it's nice. And I usually have to leave early to rush off to work, but still they get to have a nice calm morning routine. So here's the 2 pages together, even though they're not actually going to be together. And this is my phase where I mentioned before, I'm just going to put this aside and then I'll think about if I want to add anything else to it. So this is that phase where I'm just thinking about what else I want to add. And I have these Ellie Studio embellishments, and I'm using them as a potential thing to add. I want to add a bit of journaling on that photo that says forum on it, but I don't want to take away from the photo or the fact that forum is part of the title. So I definitely don't want to add any letter stickers or something that will distract from the word forum at the top, which is part of the photo. I'm really playing around with what to add in this top corner where the black kind of triangle shape of the people's heads in the audience is. And I'm not going to do it because it's just too distracting. And it looks too matchy-matchy, like it's kind of too symmetrical, I guess. I did add that ampersand above the word play because it's clear. It's such a subtle thing to add. It doesn't take away too much from the design that was already there, but it's just a little bit of interest to add. So I'm going to do some journaling on this red die cut vellum piece. And it basically just says who's in the photo. Oh no, it says who's not in the photo. So Nana and Papa were at the event, but they didn't make it into any of the photos. So I just wanted to make a note that they were there. So it just says Nana and Papa were in the car. Papa's back was really hurting him that night, so he didn't stick around for photos. But they did meet us in the car and we said goodbye to them before we left. So I'm adding a couple of enamel dots here and there. The kit came with a complete package of enamel dots, so way more than what I'm going to use here, so I'll have lots of leftovers. I put a dot after the word yes that looks like it's a period for the word yes, which is kind of cute. It makes it into a phrase instead of just a word. In my head it does anyways. So then my last thing is trying to decide, am I going to do this or not? And I didn't. So this is what it looks like. When I said this, I meant, putting that last piece of embellishment on that photo. So thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have a really great scrappy week.